let's talk Celtics-Bucks. It feels like the winner of this series is making the finals. The defense is at a level that's out of the 90s and 2000s and even a little smarter, more sophisticated. And you have Giannis at the peak of his powers. You have Tatum potentially swimming in the pool now with these guys. I don't know if I'm willing to say he's officially a top 4, top 5 guy yet, but he's definitely in the bathing suit with his feet in the water. But just the Giannis piece first. We talked about it a little on Sunday with Priscilla, like just clearly the best guy in the league now. What is it about him that jumps out to you, having watched his whole career?
Well, if you start with game one, struggled a bit from the floor. But I've always said the most underrated part of Giannis is his court vision and his ability to find the open player. I think something like 13 of his 18 passes led to Bucks baskets. So even when he's not scoring efficiently, he's finding the open man. And, big guys don't generally do that. And I remember Bud telling me way, way back when I was talking with him, Giannis was in the early process of developing and becoming who he became. And I don't think Bud was even his coach yet. I asked him, like, when you first got with him, like, what was the thing? And he said it was absolutely his ability to see the whole floor for a guy who hadn't played a lot of basketball. Because I'll contend that that's the one skill that you either have it or you don't. And if you have it, you can enhance it. But if you don't have it, it's really hard to learn how to develop it. And I think Giannis has had it from the jump. And so aside from his physical, presence and his composure, which I think is a really big part of his success also, Bill, he doesn't get rattled, even when he gets frustrated with the referee or something that Jason Tatum should learn a little bit about, frankly. He always maintains his composure. And when you're the leader and everybody's watching you, that's really important.
It's easy to forget now, like the 2013 draft, which I did the telecast for, and we were comparing him to Paul George because he was 6'9", and it was like, this is a small forward who's athletic and has point guard skills. And then he started to grow when he went to Milwaukee, but Jason Kidd still tried to make him a point guard, at least for a couple seconds there. He saw him as like this potential Magic Johnson, see over everybody, court vision guy. So he did always have this, but the difference now is physically, he's become one of the most imposing players in the history of the league. I mean, it's like Wilt, it's Shaq, it's LeBron, and it's Giannis. These are the 4 guys that if they want to get to the basket, the ref really has to think about, do I have to call this differently because of the physical advantages this guy has? What's my role here?
And great body control, just incredible body control. And because it's great to be big and strong, but we've seen plenty of guys come through the league, they don't have that same body control. In fact, when I watch Joel sometimes, I'm always like, whoa, slow down just a tad,
Yeah, sometimes when he lands, it makes you nervous.
Right,
yeah, Giannis and LeBron always landed correctly.
It's unbelievable, really. Yeah. So
I think he's way more in the LeBron ballpark than I think I was ready to consider for a long time from a physicality standpoint, especially the second half of LeBron's career. When you're talking about like kind of 2014 through now, when he added the extra muscle, he kept the athleticism for the most part, but really kind of learned how to put his shoulder into people, how to just get to the basket, how to bounce off people. He was always going to get the call. Giannis to me feels the same way, where Giannis is like, if I put my shoulder down, the other guy's going backwards. They will call it a couple times, but not every time. And this is, if my shot's not falling, I always have this. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's why Celtics fans should be worried because, he hasn't played great yet. I mean, he's done some amazing things, but he's averaging 5.5 turnovers. That's not going to keep. I don't think that will continue. They got smart in the second half of game 2, I thought, and started using their shooters as screeners. So because, Grant Williams, Rob Williams, Horford, they've all done a really great job on Giannis one-on-one. They started to realize like at game 1, they're trying to double team. That's suicide.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Suicide. So now you're playing him straight up. But, if Grayson Allen, for instance, is setting that screen, you can't afford to do that. You've got to account for him, especially at home in Milwaukee, because as we've learned from the history of NBA playoffs, guys like Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis, probably even Pat Connaughton, even though he's from New England, they're just going to play better at home. It's a better environment for them, and they're going to hit open shots. So I'll be interested to see if they go to that more. They also did a little bit of the dribble handoff with Giannis. I mean, they're going to find ways to use Giannis, even if it isn't getting him to score. And he missed a lot of really easy shots.
Yeah.
A lot of drives to the basket where he was a little off balance. And that's a credit to Boston's defense for sure. But I don't think we've seen the best of, maybe we did in game one. Milwaukee's defense was incredible. But by no means is this series to me is such a toss-up. It really is.
I said on Tuesday night, one of the things that I think made Giannis so special now is that even when he's not very good, he still has this massive impact on a game.
Right. He's impactful.
Which is kind of like the last level. I think all the great, you talk about Icons Club, like if we just talk about like the best 15 guys ever, the best guys could always impact a game even if they weren't scoring, right? Or they could impact a game just by being out there or their physicality or something. I think it's something actually Shaq was maybe, if you're talking like top 12, 13, 14 guys ever, Shaq was somebody that sometimes he could disappear from a game, right? He'd get in foul trouble or his foul shots would go sideways, something like that. But, somebody like Jordan, somebody like LeBron. LeBron can not shoot well in a game, but he can still do 19 other things. He's always present. He's always in the game. 100%. And that was what I felt like Giannis, out of anybody we have now, even if he's not good, he's still going to be really good in the game, and I think that's why he's the best.
Yeah, and he's so young. We haven't even seen the best of him yet, which is really scary because you look at his shooting and what he did from last year to this year and improved just the form of his shot. And he, obviously he's been shooting well in this series. And something else that I just don't believe I just don't think he's going to shoot 38% for this series from the floor. I don't believe it. And the 3-point shooting, I've never been sold. I understand why they have him do it. Bud loves the threes, but that's the other thing for game 3. There's no way on this earth the Bucks will shoot only 18 3-point shots. That's not happening either.
Right. The shot chart from Giannis from like the last couple of years to this year, even that's changed. He's another piece if we're talking Icons Club and somebody like him. He does seem like he tries to add and evolve each year.
That's what the great ones do.
The guys that we grew up with, that's what made them different. Each year they came back with something else. And it seems like he's in that mode too. And you think about that'll be as Luka hits his mid-20s, whether he's in shape, and then what is he adding each year? What is he going to bring?
How about some defense? Might be a good start.
I know.
Just saying. A little bit of defense. And you can't tell me a guy like him can't do it. I don't believe that. I believe that he can. People say Kyrie Irving doesn't defend. There were points that we've seen him where he gets his mind made up. He can put out, he can perform beautifully on the defensive end.
If he actually trusts.
Yeah, effort and, because he certainly has the basketball intelligence to do it. And so does Luka for sure. So, and Giannis already has that piece. I mean, Giannis is in the discussion every year for Defensive Player of the Year.